I'm going to give this another attempt. My name is Matthew Gale. I am basically trying to inform the reservation community and as well as the United States of a growing epidemic with opiate, not abuse, but pushing. We realize that the prescription drugs are being pushed upon us by physicians that are very well informed. Obviously, these people have educations, and the people of the public that it is pushed upon do not know the drastic effects. You know, a lot of people don't know when taking a drug that it's going to be addictive or not, but trust me, the opiates are very, very addictive. Uh, a lot of people take them just in earlier years of 2010 when OxyContin was changed over to Opana and oxycodone. That they had been a broken finger, you know, and a doctor prescribed them these medications, and then they became addicted. Later on, you know, might have led them into heroin or buying these pills right off the street. And what did they find themselves? But basically, in a criminal system that to this day there is still no real. Uh, there's still no justice, I guess, across the board because realistically, who are the criminals here? The criminals are the prescription drug companies that allow this to happen, the FDA and federal government. And what do? We have to stand up and unite as a people and actually say we will not take your pain medications. We will not allow this, you know, to come into communities. I mean, look at currently the rate of gabapentin that's being passed around like it's candy. I mean, you're giving this stuff to younger kids and this sort of thing, and everybody believes that these are wonder drugs, but they're not. In all actuality, in 1956 was the first year that Native Americans were ever allowed to go into an alcoholic establishment, let alone buy alcohol. So we have been a very short period of time, but are a very good example of what we can overcome. We do not need these medicines that they claim that are going to help us. You know, in reality, the people that I know, Dennis Banks was one of them. There's another elder I know. He had informed me that basically when he was young, people didn't take prescribed drugs, and they all lived to the, you know, a great life, 80 years up, 90 years old, and were very you know, were very capable of still doing things at that age. And what I'm saying here is basically that these wonder drugs also have an internal effect upon us. And if you look at how cancer has ran rampant, it realistically is the cause of cancer. If you're trying to change something in your body, prescription drugs change your body and they cause cancer. You know, if you look back in our history as a Native American community, we can know exactly the start of where things started to go wrong. 1955 was the first year that IHS hospitals were integrated into the Native community, which is kind of funny because 1956 was the first time that we were ever started to give substances. Now, if you take that into consideration, you know, it's not been very long, and we can actually just go back and ask a few of our elders, and they'd probably be like, "Yeah, this is the truth," you know. And we got that. We're still lucky to have that. So what I'm basically trying to inform the public is across the board that needs to change. Another thing that I'm actually going to talk about is IHS hospitals and being under the umbrella of the Department of Defense and the Native American treaties for actually having free healthcare, if I'm correct. And maybe some bands don't have that, but I know from my reservation, Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, we do have access to IHS hospitals. Now, when no other person is really allowed to go to these hospitals, they can in an emergency event, they're allowed to um, I guess, make sure that a person is stable, then move them to a different facility. Well, this is just like segregated bathrooms during the 1950s and 60s for blacks and, you know, whites. When are we going to come into full equality? Now, what I propose is basically a privatization of the onto the insurance aid industry, and basically all Native Americans get across the board full coverage insurance. Now, this would include life insurance, but a portion of that obviously would be deferred towards Social Security funds. But the overall fact is if it's privatized, the government doesn't bear the burden of actually having to come up with budgeting for such things, and it actually provides us for civil equality, so that people within our communities and that sort of thing aren't feeling like, where I'm from, where they get a tribal ticket, and if you're not a band member, you actually have to pay a higher premium, and then the tribe, they actually don't even enforce the tickets, so you get your name ran in the local paper for a little while, and just forget about it, and that does not provide discipline for the average person. And people at their core just want to be a good person. We're young at some point, and we don't really take the rules seriously. A lot of us don't, so we try to play with the rules, but we learn. We learn throughout life, and that's what life is about. It's a learning experience. So we just have to realize that there was a machine, okay, put in place that we are currently using. Okay, there is not a people that are making sure that this machine keeps in place. There's time for a regime change and time for a change with America right now, and basically that's what I'm trying to promote and inform people of, and get people to stand together with our prophecies and our heritage and culture of the seven fires prophecy, and that we are very well in the beginning of lighting the eighth fire. Now, what does that consist of? It's just getting in touch with your higher power, however that may be, however you find it. There is no real proper definition for it. As cultural people, there is for us. Those are our teachings, but like a lot of us are, different types of faith, but realistically, what does it boil down to is just believing in your higher power or God, um, and open up that communication, and just realizing a lot of common sense comes from that. There's truth in all walks of faith, but all I will share for now, and I'll be adding more and more as I go. Thank you.